to welcome everyone here and on the broadcast here at the Temple of Clarity for this Tuesday meditation. It started to happen just 1 minute ago. Just started. So for those of you at home who are participating with us, and I know I can see you on the chat that you're there, take a moment to make your place. I want to welcome everyone here and on the broadcast. Here at the Temple of Clarity. For this Tuesday meditation. It started to happen just... Oh, I see what happened. I had one of the broadcast things were open. I get to hear my own voice. Never sounds the same, right? When you hear yourself speaking. Anyways, back on track. Everyone who's watching online, take a moment just to make your space sacred, your space clear. The area around you, the room that you're in. Create your own portal between heaven and earth. And you could do that by simply just setting that intention, wanting to connect to the divine. That desire is a divine magnet that pulls you up higher and higher. And then for this short meditation, we will all collectively be in this grid of light. If thoughts come, let them drift away and have that intention to communicate with the Divine Mother, the Heavenly Father, your own God flame, your own God presence, your own God consciousness, however you see it, however you experience it. But as that is a focus, you will have a beautiful meditation. You will have a beautiful encounter. And that's what we do here. So I'm going to invoke my spiritual guides, and then we'll begin this meditation. In the name of the living God, in the name of the light most holy beyond all names, the nameless, the pure essence of existence that is in us, that is everywhere and nowhere. We invite all the heavenly beings here, beloved Lady Clarity, beloved Mother Mary, beloved Saint Germain, and the violet flame, the living flame of forgiveness, compassion, and mercy. To all the angels and other beings, cosmic beings of light that have form and no form, many shapes, the entire geometry of God and creation, and the framework of creation, and the builders of creation, the Elohim, come into this room as living energy, love, beauty. Fill this space with infinite light, with infinite joy, with infinite beauty. Take us beyond. Take us into the oneness. coming back. In that place of rest, in that place of peace. You eternally maintain this frequency. You always have been, you always will. The divine container of pure God, Spirit, Source energy inside you. Now, for a few moments, we are going to collectively in this room increase the volume, increase the magnitude, increase the power of that which you are. And as we set our intention, everyone in this room, everyone on this broadcast, to bring this heaven to earth, this God realization of infinity, of oneness, of timelessness, of pure beauty here on earth. I'm going to count to 3, and then you open that door. You increase this magnitude of light, of the totality of the infinite love that you are, and you release it, and you sustain it, and you magnify it. One, 2, 3. Do it. So beautiful. So powerful. Now our light merges, each one adding a special fragrance, a special frequency, a special gift of their own soul into this birth of this light that we created, that we brought into time and space, that will expand, that will grow, that will bless and heal. As it takes on its own mission of light, removing mass consciousness, the negative thought forms, those who have misused God's vision, this ball of light that we created, this beautiful sphere like a sun repolarizing anything that is not back to its pure essence, back to its pure light frequency. And we send this light around the world 144 times, faster and faster, clearing, repolarizing, blessing, healing, creating a new atmosphere of oneness that the collective of humanity can see, hear, touch, and tap into in their prayers, in their meditations, in their walk back home into this sun. This light is eternal. This sphere is eternal. It will carry on and carry on, carry on, carrying on, growing in its light, glowing in its intensity and its love, because you, all of you, anchored this light for humanity here and now. And now let's collectively expand it to the size of the earth, pushing away all the darkness back into outer space. And then if you have something to say to this light, some mission, some prayer of your own, add that into the sphere, into this creation. And when you're ready, open your eyes. You've done your job. That had been one of the most powerful meditations I've ever experienced. I was just thrown back in my chair, my mouth wide open at one point. Kind of funny. When we all released our light into the room, that was so powerful. And at one point, the silence got so loud. The silence got louder and louder. And there was no thoughts. I remember one point, Saint Germain came to the thought to connect with Saint Germain in my meditation, and this then it got very hot. Then I got very hot. So like so much happened in that short period of time. I see Christy's online. She gave me a cute little emoji with little like kisses on it. So, hi Christy. since we were talking about Saint Germain and Mount Shasta, of course, we know that Mount Shasta is Saint Germain's mountain. And that's where the birth of those books, The Magic Presence and Unveiled Mysteries, were written concerning that mountain and the perfected souls that are attracted to that mountain because it is a living mountain. One of my yogi friends, who used to own a cabin on Mount Shasta, he said sometimes at night you can hear this like a garage door opening, like this giant door, and there's this big mechanism opening inside the mountain, and he never could see where it was, but there is this door, and it's talked about, and many clairvoyants have gone in there, opened that door. In a way, that's kind of like what happened here tonight. We had it was a light door, but with no doors in it. But there was, in Mount Shasta, there is a door that sounds like that it was built by the Lemurians and is still working today, that they come in and out of inside the mountain. And so when you go, Lori, we're expecting to hear some of your fantastic stories. Every time I go, it's a journey. I get promotions. I call it a promotion because something new happens, something I've never experienced, something beautiful, something that just brings me such joy. First time I ever saw my aura was on Mount Shasta. And I was hiking up in the snow, and then I could see, it looked like my shadow, but then around my shadow I could see this violet light. So I go, wow, that's it. And I stopped and stared at it for a while. And I said, I can see. All of a sudden. That lasted until I came down from the mountain, unfortunately. But there's something about that mountain. It's an activation, right, that happens. There's something that clearly, I was in a different space.
Well, apparently there's a call for Lemurians to return at this time. It's a contract for us to go back at this point and gather. And apparently we're going to get some big transmission or something. I don't know what to expect. And
Yeah.
I think the door you're talking about is in a mountain. There's a etheric door in the mountain. You go into the mountain, and then, but it's off the beaten path.
I have some YouTube videos from Mount Shasta. And one of them was I was flying my flying camera over Mount Shasta. And then I peered over to the right where the sun was, and the sun took the shape of God. I didn't realize it at the time, but the sun, and then he had a body, and it was the size of the mountain. And that's on my YouTube channel. Another time I was there, on the top of the mountain came this flying heart in the shape of a cloud over the top of the mountain. And I go, wow, that's so random. That's so, but, I have a video of that, and I put it to some music. And another time I was there, and we were going up the mountain. It was in I think it was in March, and it was right after a major snowstorm in February. And so the snow on the road was 30 feet high. And they had plowed the road up and pushed the snow on either side so that cars can get there. You couldn't get past Bunny Hops, but you could get to where the skiing was, into that parking lot. And it was so etheric, so beautiful, so, how snow is. And it was warm. I was walking around in the snow in a t-shirt in some places. It was just hot somehow. So many stories about Mount Shasta. My favorite story, and then I'll get the microphone to you, Lisa. My favorite story is at the very top of the mountain is the ending of the road there, that parking lot. And I went up there in the afternoon, and I was sitting there in the parking lot, and I looked up at the mountain, and there's a guy in a monk's robe with the hood holding a staff. And I says, you can't make this stuff up. Either I'm dreaming or he's dreaming. So I walked up, and he was standing on this rock. So this rock was like 10 feet up. It was like on the top of the stairs or something. Somehow he got up on this rock. And so I went up to like a rock that was below him, and I just stood there, and he was just standing there with his staff, like Moses or something, wearing this brown robe with his beads and everything. And I said, nobody's going to believe this story. I need to get a photograph. So I waited for a few minutes, and finally he looked down at me, and I said to him, have you ever heard of Saint Germain? And he said, yes. And that started like this conversation. And so I said to him, he was a priest, like a Franciscan priest, one of those priests. And I said, will you please give me a blessing? He said, absolutely. So it wasn't the regular, Catholic blessing. He took the energy of the mountain. He was doing these beautiful spirit-guided movements, taking the energy of the mountain and then moving it on top of me. And I said, wow, nobody's going to believe this. I better get that photograph. So when I came back, I did get a couple of pictures of him. And, what an encounter. That is Mount Shasta, though. That is Mount Shasta. Lisa, do you mind? My legs I can't even move. I am like.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have enough? Sorry. Well, regarding the mountain, if you read the first couple of chapters of Super Mundane, the masters tell you about their retreats, their mountains. And they talk about, in that book, about what they do in those mountains. And, it's all kinds of wild stuff. You have to read it to believe it, kind of thing. But Super Mundane, I've not read that book. 1, 2, and 3. There are 3 of them. And it's very interesting. Perhaps, if you're meant to find your way into the mountain, you will find your way into the mountain. Otherwise, don't even give it a thought. He speaks very clearly about how they have no trouble keeping people out. It's not a problem. So anyway, it is a good book, worth reading. I just wanted to share regarding the meditation tonight was a next step from I was in a prayer service on Saturday night with some friends of mine, and was given this visualization, and it just exploded here. It was just like, the light coming out, I saw, a few rays of light, maybe, 360 degrees light coming out. And at the end of each of them is a hand. And they were going out to help someone. Well, tonight, it was probably 10,000 rays. Going out, helping people. And I saw, of course, first, we have a number of friends that are ill, experiencing something, at some level of Maya and illusion that they're transmuting or whatever, but it's painful nevertheless, and discomfort and uncomfortable. And anyway, so I was sending my light to them, and then not my light, excuse me, it was her light. And then when you called to expand it, it just went to the whole earth. And there was this huge fire ring around the earth. We did it tonight, guys. God in us did it. Let's put it that way. We're just the humble instruments that happen to be here on the rock. And thank you very much. It was a great experience. I'm grateful.
Hi, well, I want to thank you for that wonderful meditation. It went right along with what I've been doing lately, that I'm giving you all a new tool that has been working for me. So as most of you know, I had a fall a couple years ago and fractured a vertebrae in my back. And the vertebrae is actually was actually poking out of the rest of my vertebrae and being very excruciating. So I've tried all kinds of things, as you can imagine, holistic and, epidural injections and anything and everything I could find or think of to do. So finally, I just got very frustrated. I'm going, okay, well, what else is there, I decided, instead of focusing on the pain, I'm going to focus on rising above the pain. So for the last 3 nights, I programmed myself to go out in the cosal plane, which is where higher level beings go while we sleep. And actually, Yogananda called it the cosal plane because that's where we cause things to happen from. Lower level spirits, younger spirits, go to the astral plane, which is just like a mock-up of the physical plane. So we all here, and the people online, go to the cosal plane. We cause things to happen from there, right? So I programmed myself to go there and to be in the highest vibration of enlightenment that I could sustain in a physical body, that the frequency was above the dis-ease of the body, above the pain of the body. And that when I wake up in the morning, I would be happy and pain-free and be able to stay in that highest level of enlightenment that I could sustain. And sure enough, my back pain has gone down by 80%. So I encourage all of you to find your own way of doing that. But I feel so blessed, and I share it with all of you to try it out. You just tell yourself before you're going to sleep and over again, tonight in the causal plane, I'm going to, whatever your words are. If you wake up during the night, state it again as many times as you can. And, even if you don't feel a change the first night, keep going. I mean, I do causal plane work all the time, so never this specific thing. So try it out, see if it works for you.
So you say, I'm going to the causal plane.
Tonight on the causal plane, I'm going to, and then you say whatever your intent is. So mine was to be in the highest vibration of enlightenment that I could sustain in my body that was above the frequency of dis-ease and pain. And that also I would be happy and pain-free in the morning when I woke up. And then I would wake up and state it out over and over again. And then when I would wake up in the morning, before I leap out of bed, before I even opened my eyes, I would state that again. And then sure enough, instead of getting out of bed and being in excruciating pain, which has been so bad sometimes I could pass out, I just got up. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
This kind of victim thing, and saving the world kind of thing, like her business. It's time to move past that.
Well, also, as we're all realizing that we are God or Goddess, that then what our messages are that we're giving to ourself and to the universe are much more likely to happen, regardless of whether we're saying it in a negative way or in a positive way, right? So we're creating whatever that is. So we need to think of it in the highest realms possible, literally and figuratively, for what it is we want, not what it is we don't want. Christopher, did you have something?
Christopher, you're like a giant light bulb. You're just like this.
Well, Dennis, you said the word light bulb. That was exactly what I was going to talk about. So your intuition is right on again. You just got another bingo card of intuition filled up. And thank you for sharing that about the causal realm. It's so powerful, right, to get above the disease levels of vibration. So I just wanted to first acknowledge you, Dennis, and everybody here, and everybody online for holding such a high, just high expression of love, right? I don't want to say vibration. It's really this vibration of love, and the space is so powerful here. And, I know I've been in SRF for 20 years and had SRF Temple in my home and Sai Baba. This is just really excellent, right? And this is as powerful as it gets in Sedona or in Shasta 2, right? Not to compare, but the gateway's open. And when we were all doing that work tonight, and when you started talking about, after we'd meditated really silently and beautifully for a while, and everybody online holding the space too, and you started to say, it's time to get brighter. It's time to expand. And exactly what I was seeing was a light bulb, like, the kind with a filament in it and the glass dome over it. And just, I know we kind of know this stuff, but it was like, remember, you don't have to make the light. You don't have to make the energy, right? These light bulbs here, there's 2 plugs in the wall, right? It's crown and root, Divine Father, Divine Mother, and you plug in, and then the energy and the light flows. And it was just like, well, inside that bulb, the protective bulb protects a really delicate filament, right? And there's special gases inside that bulb so that filament can burn bright with light and not burn out. And it's like, that's exactly what we're all doing with this space. We're like putting that glass globe around, right? We're doing the meditation with that special gas of grace and love and light's coming in, and then we can burn really bright without burning out. And I think in a lot of past lifetimes, many of us know that when you start burning brightly, it's shedding a lot of light, right? It's really easy to have that light bulb cracked right as you're doing it. But it was so powerful. And then when you were talking about Manchester, all these energy points connect on the grid, right? Here does, and Questhaven does, and the Men's Retreat Center and SRF in Escondido, and that temple, and this temple, and Harmony Grove, and all the way out to Encinitas, right? It's this big kind of grid here that's plugged in. And I was remembering when I went to Crestone, Colorado, in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, Blood of Christ Mountains, the energy there's very, very high. It's like Taos. If you've ever been up in Taos, you can just, your crown will open up like the Astrodome. But in Taos, there's also a lot of difficult energy from the Native Americans and the Spanish and the Americans, then the Americans and the Natives and the Americans and the Spanish. But it's just like pure master energy in Sangre de Cristo Mountains, just tiny bit south of the Great Dunes. And when I was driving back after about 3 weeks there for this meditation retreat, I was driving and I saw this glint on the horizon. The sun was over there, and there's this pinkish glint and sparkle and glint. What is that? What is that? I'm driving down this highway. It's not, it's not a traveled highway. It's brighter and brighter and brighter. I'm getting closer and closer. It's like, that looks like the color of rose quartz. I'm getting closer and closer, and it's this giant pile of rose quartz, like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10 times the size of your house. And I drive up there, and there's this man who has a rose quartz mine. And this guy is like a combination of a dwarf and a hobbit. Okay, and he's really one of these like earth kind of dwarf guys. And I just stopped and we started talking. And about 4 or 5 years ago, he got married, and he said, this woman changed my life. I never used to talk to people or interact with anybody. I go in my rose quartz mine and mine quartz. So we got chatting and talking, and he says, would you like to go down in the rose quartz mine? So here's Sangre de Cristo Mountains, right? These giant Rockies, down into this rose quartz mine, and we're meditating down there. And there's Sanat Kumara, bam, right? Sanat Kumara, rose quartz cave under these mountains. And then it's like, boom, here's Mount Shasta, and then Saint Germain, and then these other things, right? They just start lighting up. So I'm just, it was just so strong tonight, like, just be that light bulb, be simple, don't try, right? Plug in, let that light shine, and remember, it was kind of like, okay, Christopher, you just screwed yourself into the temple of clarity socket, right? And we're plugging in. It was like, it's just really bright and light. So I'm just kind of affirming what everybody's doing. And it's so powerful right here and online too. So some people aren't fortunate enough to go to Mount Shasta or Sedona. And I really just want to, let like everyone, you can plug in here and you're not missing anything. Don't feel like, oh my God, if I could only go here or there, it would be different. So, yes. Anyway, that's awesome. Well, I'll give this back to you. The only other ending of the story is I put so much rose quartz in the back of my car that it compressed the shocks. So then I had to stop at a place on the way and have them make the shocks hold the load so I could drive back here. But I ended up giving it all away fast.
Do you still have stuff?
I still have just a few little pieces, but you know how when something like that comes to you, it wants to go somewhere, right? It's like you're part of the, oh, it's supposed to go here and there.
Yeah, I love that. There's a place outside Livingston called Pine Creek, and it kind of goes along with your story, is there's 3 waterfalls, and most people only go to the first waterfall. And then the second waterfall is there's like a 200-foot drop into this heart-shaped lake. And then the third waterfall is over this giant vein of green quartz. This giant vein, maybe the size of a couple football fields by 100 feet. And there's a waterfall that goes over that. So there's all this green quartz. And so when I was hiking with my nephew, James Sweeney, we got to the top and we looked at it, and there was this, so many beautiful flowers in this place, and we saw the waterfall, and there was this one tree where this bald eagle flew over our head and landed on this tree. That I know is like a Mount Shasta place. That place, Pine Creek. And so it's at the top. It's at the very top. It's a very difficult hike. It's probably, the very edge of capability for me. Like I could have very steep, and it's to get once you're there though, it's like the beauty of it is so exhilarating, so powerful. It just you get energy from it, just like electrified, and the little miracles that you see there. And I took some of that jade. I said, I needed I need to have some of that in my house. I need that energy in my house. I still have some in my bedroom, a nice big piece. And I found out later that from an old timer, he says, that does mining, that's gold miner. He says, that's where we find gold. I says, I better not tell him there's a bunch of green jade up there. I'll be digging around up there. So there's these places. So there's the green jade, or green quartz, and there's the rose quartz. Kind of connect. Well, everybody, I will be broadcasting again tomorrow for the Divine Mother Worship Service, but next week is in real question. The plumber was here earlier, and apparently there's a slab leak. They're going to have to repipe the hot water pipe in the guest bathroom. And it went into the floor. Good possibility all this floor is going to be ripped out Thursday when the mediation company comes. And so will it be back together by next Tuesday? Probably not. So it's a unfortunate thing, but if I don't take care of this correctly, it's going to be another problem. And
So you just post it on Facebook whether we're meeting or not.
right, I will post it. And I will let everybody know if it's that's here that it's happening. I'm wondering. There we go. This is the solution. Let's meet at Lori's house. Let's do that. Because that was waiting for us to finally gather there. And what I could do for everybody online is I'll put the address in like a meetup thread or something, and then and that's what we'll do next Tuesday. That sounds sounds perfect. Those of you who haven't been to Lori's house, it's beautiful. And she has a meditation room with crystals that all have a story to tell.
Though I don't know if we're all going to fit in there.
Well,
We're just going to have to leave the door open and let the energy come to us.
right. So thank you for offering your space, and that's the perfect solution. So I would suggest everybody bring a crystal that you want to have charged in that room, and we'll add our love and light to the love and light that's there, and we'll continue this this work of the masters, whatever they have us do. But you'll lead it, right? It might not be broadcast. I don't think I could broadcast from your place. Maybe from my cell phone I could. I'm not sure.
You're the leader, not me.
Okay.
I'm just offering my place as a place to get together.
Okay. I'll do that.
I have a really powerful T-Mobile internet hub that's like 200-300 megs down a second. It would work fine for broadcasting if it's an internet issue.
Oh, that would be really helpful. That would be really helpful.
Just connect it.
Oh, okay. So a new plan is forming, a new answers to every problem. There's a solution. So
Broadcasting is a hassle, but it really includes a lot of people and it amplifies the light. So think about it.
yeah, we want to do it. So I'll see everybody on the broadcast tomorrow, and then keep on keeping on. The light is winning, no matter what the news says. And as long as we keep emanating this light, we are part of the solution. Good night, everyone. God bless you.